Dear students, I welcome all for the second session on data structures and applications. In our previous session, we have discussed what is data structure and what are the learning objectives of data structures. In this session, we are going to discuss the different types of data structures. The data structures are broadly classified into the following two types, that is primitive data structure and non-primitive data structure. Primitive data structure. To build a new house, we require certain materials, right? So similarly, to build a program, we require certain basic materials, and that basic materials we call it as a primitive data structure. Okay, so the primitive data structures are the basic data structure that are directly operated upon by the machine instruction. That means they are very simple in form and they are easily understood by the machine. Okay, so they are predefined and simplest form of all the data structure, which deals with only one data item. So here the term predefined means the meaning of these data structures are known to the computer. Looking at that name, the computer will get to know what the data structure is and what the computer has to do on that data structure. So normally all primitive data structure handles only one data item because it is very simple, no? So simplest form of data will be handled by this primitive data structure. Examples for primitive data structures include integer, character, real and boolean. In C language, you have studied about integer data type, character data type and float, that is real data type. But C does not support boolean data type. So what is this boolean data type? So a boolean data structure is a data structure which handles only two values. Either the value will be true or it will be false. Okay, so that is an example for primitive data structure. Most of the advanced programming languages like C++, Java supports boolean data type. Next, let us see the operations on primitive data structure. So the various operations that can be performed on primitive data structures are create, destroy, select, update. Okay, so these are the four basic operations we normally carry out on primitive data structure. Let us understand each of these operations in detail. Create operation. The create operation is used to create a new data structure. A new data structure is created when the data structure gets a memory space. So this creation operation allocates a memory space for all the program elements. So this memory allocation can be carried out at compile time or at runtime. So compile time and runtime andre enu andre, see, if I want to take a class for all of you, I need a classroom with a set of chairs, right? To accommodate all of you, I need a set of table and chairs, right? So if there are 53 students in my class, I require 53 chairs to handle a class, or to take a class I require 53 chairs. So if all the 53 chairs are allocated before I commence the class, then it is called as compile time allocation. So if all the memory that is required for the program is allocated before execution, it is called as compile time memory allocation. Okay, suppose if I take a class and then the chairs are allocated, that means ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅವ್ನು ಬಂದಾಗ ಅವನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಚೇರ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ರನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ರನ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಮೊರಿನ ನಾವು ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ವೇಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ 53 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋಂಥ ಚೇರ್ಸ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟೇ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ, ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 53 ಓನ್ಲಿ 40 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಮೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಅಂಥ 13 ಚೇರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಯಿತಾ? ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆದರೆ ಮುಗೀತು, ಅದನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ತೊಗೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಕಂಪೈಲ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಥರ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಒನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟೆಡ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಿನಿಶ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ದ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ರನ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಥರ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಯಿತಾ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ. In C language, you can create a new data structure by declaring a variable of required type. Here in this example, a variable var1 of integer type is created with the initial value 10. Next is destroy operation. If you have created a data structure, you should have some means to destroy the data structure, isn't it? So the destroy operation is used to destroy the data structure that was already created. So without performing creation operation, you cannot directly perform destroy operation. The destroy operation can be carried out only if the data structure is created. So on the created data structure, you can perform the destroy operation. So what this destroy operation is going to do? It is going to take back the memory that is allocated for the program element in the creation process. So while creating a variable, you have reserved a memory space, right? So that memory space which is allocated for the program element will be taken back by the computer by performing a destroy operation. So normally we will not perform this destroy operation in our program because as soon as the program ends, all the data structure is automatically destroyed and the computer will take back the allocated memory space. Okay, so because of this reason, normally we don't perform destroy operation. If you want to perform destroy operation in C language, you can explicitly call a free function. You can explicitly call a free function. So this function takes one parameter, that is the address of the variable or the address of the memory which has to be destroyed. Okay. So here already we have created a variable by creation process in our previous slide. We have created a variable var1. To destroy that var1, we can call this free function as follows. You have to write free and then within the parenthesis you have to write the name of the variable, that is var1. So this statement will destroy the memory location that is allocated for that variable var1. Okay. Next, select. So the select operation is used by the programmer to access the data that is present within the data structure. If you want to see what data item is stored in that data structure, you can perform this select operation. Next is update operation. The update operation is used to change the data of the data structure. If you have created a data structure with some value and later in your program if you want to modify the content of that data structure, then you can perform this update operation. In most of the programming language, the updation operation is normally performed by using an assignment operator. So here is an example. Here already one variable var1 with the initial value 10 is created and later the same variable value is modified to 45 by using assignment operator. So there are certain situations where primitive data structures are not sufficient for our requirement. To meet this new requirement, we need to go with additional data structure and that we call it as non-primitive data structures. In many instances, primitive data structure, because it handles only one data item, it will not be sufficient. There are many applications where we are going to work with a set of data items, a group of data items or a collection of data items. In that scenario, these primitive data structures will not help. Okay, so to meet this new requirement, we are using other data structures and those data structure we call it as non-primitive data structures. Now let us get into non-primitive data structure. Our non-primitive data structures are more complex form of data structure. So the complexity is because of the number of data item it is going to handle. So why the non-primitive data structures are more complex than primitive data structure? Because it is going to handle multiple data items. Okay, it handles multiple data items. Because of that reason it is more complex. and these non-primitive data structures may be of same type or of different type. They may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Okay, and all non-primitive data structures are obtained from primitive data structures. Here are some of the examples for non-primitive data structures: array, stack, queue, tree, graphs, linked list, etc. And these data structure we are going to discuss in our subsequent sessions. Non-primitive data structures are further classified as linear data structure and non-linear data structure based on the type of relationship that exists among the data items. Next, linear data structure. In linear data structure, data elements exhibit linear or sequential relationship, which means every data items or every data elements will be having at most two neighbors. To understand this relationship, let us consider an example. If you stand in a queue to buy a movie ticket, so you will be having maximum two neighbors, one in front of you and the other in at the back of you, right? So that type of relationship we call it as a linear relationship or a sequential relationship. Some of the data structures which exhibits linear relationships are as follows: array, queue, stack, pointers, structures, and linked list. Non-linear data structure. The data elements of non-linear data structure exhibits non-linear relationship. That means every data elements will be having more than two neighbors. Okay. Examples for non-linear data structure includes trees and graphs. Now let us understand what are the operations that we can perform on non-linear data structure. Along with the basic operations like create, destroy, select and update that we have discussed in our previous slides, we are going to perform additional operations on non-linear data structure, which includes insertion. So insertion is the process of adding a new data item into an existing collection. For example, if there is a collection of data item and if you add a new item into that collection, it will be called as insertion operation. Even in our day-to-day life also, we do perform this operation. If I add one more student into this class, then that operation I can define it as insertion operation. Okay. Next is deletion. Deletion is the process of removing an existing data item from the given collection of data items. If I remove any one of you from this class, then I can say I have performed deletion operation. Removal is nothing but a deletion. So in a collection of data item, if you eliminate or if you remove any one data item, that operation we call it as deletion operation. Next is traversal. So traversal is nothing but visiting all data item exactly once. Okay. So I'll take an attendance for this class. So what I do, I call out your names from the beginning to the end. So that process I can define it as traversal. Next operation is searching. In computer science, searching is a process of finding the location of a data item if that data item is present in a given collection. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಡೇಟಾ ಐಟಮ್ ಒಂದು ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಕೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸರ್ಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್, a set of integer numbers, if I wanted to find out whether the number 12 is present in that list or not, is defined as searching. Okay, so if that item is present, in which location the item is there, that is actually the output of searching operation. If the item is not present, then the searching will be unsuccessful and the location of the data item is not outputted by the searching operation. Okay. Next, sorting. Sorting is the process of arranging the data items in some order. In some order in the sense, if you are applying sorting operations on numbers, you can arrange numbers either in ascending order or descending order. If you are performing sorting operation on text, So arranging the text either in ascending order or in descending order is also defined as sorting. Next operation is merging. Merging is the process of combining the data items of different collections of same type to form a single structure is called merging. Merging can be simply defined as merging two collections of same type into a single collection. See, I have taken class for both EMCS and SMCS students because they have something in common, that is they have opted the same paper, that is computer science. Because of that reason I am combining both stream students and I am taking a class, right? So merging is performed on two different collections, but those two different collections should have same type of data items. Okay, here in computer science you can merge two integer data set into one data set, or you can merge two float data set into one data set, or two character data set into one data set. That is what a merging operation. So these are the operations that you can perform on non-linear data structures. With this, I'm going to end the session. So in this session, you have studied the different types of data structure, primarily primitive data structures and non-primitive data structures. Thank you.